Have y'all ever washed your hair in cold water?
Mm-hmm.
It's the man. It's the
Cold
man.
water?
Yeah.
It's the jam. I don't know why.
I used to like cold showers, but then now I can't take it.
Fuck no.
But I remember being like a teenager, and it was like nice. I enjoyed it.
After like riding your bike all day and shit and coming in and
because
taking
it just felt different. It didn't feel like taking a shower. It felt like playing in the rain.
Right.
I don't know. Cold water on the balls, though.
Ooh, I like that.
Do you? I do not.
I like ice on the balls. You ever had an ice cube on your balls?
Hell no.
Boy.
Oh, let me.
You ever had somebody stick ice cubes in their mouth and give you
No, but
a little,
dude,
little toppings?
Dude, back when I was in high school, my nickname was Ice Cube, because you couldn't keep me from keeping ice cubes on my dick. Welcome to the Blest Boyz podcast. My name's Crowder.
I'm Andrew.
Trevor.
And we are here to give you your bi-weekly dose of horse shit, although it's been several buys weeklies. We took a big, long hiatus to record a new record with a new band that we were talking to you about in early episodes that has now popped off, and we are on our way, and we are rolling. We're rolling out singles for you. You may have heard them. And we're pretty hard over it. Yeah?
I'm stiff as a board about it. Over the moon.
Sure. Same.
Curved over the moon.
Curved over the moon.
The new jams are dope. I'm very happy with them. Yeah, it's been almost a year, I think.
Has it been a year since we shot?
I mean, not quite.
No. I mean, not since we've shot, no, but we started about this time.
Yeah.
Last year.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah, because I remember our last show prior before this band was
last
like
one was Halloween.
No, I'm sorry. The last show of the previous band was in June.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. July.
No, it was June.
The
Positive.
Jackal show
Is at the end of June, yep.
And that's how we afforded the podcast equipment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. We've made a lot of use out of these cameras, actually. If you've seen the video for Another Spoke in the Wheel, we shot all of that ourselves in the studio with these cameras. They're not the best cameras you can buy,
They do the job.
but they get it done.
Yeah.
For what we're doing, I feel like they're pretty good.
Perfect.
People do some pretty incredible stuff with them from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about, what you know. And we're still learning.
But if you know how to use, set the aperture right like I do, you're good. All the stuff you've seen, if you've watched the stuff we've shot, like everything we've shot on our own, the music stuff.
Everything's been done by Trevor. All the camera work.
It's all me.
He's finessed it. Every bit of it.
I hate to take credit, but But how long has it been since we shot though? An episode. When was the last one? Halloween.
And we shot it like 2 weeks before Halloween.
Mm-hmm. So October. So what is this? 8 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's been a long, long time. We didn't intend for that to be the last episode either. We just got carried away with this stuff. This stuff actually took off quicker than we thought. We were like preparing, writing songs and recording demos and stuff, and then to go record them, and then all of a sudden, next thing we know, we're there.
It got busy so quick. Because, what we would do, recording processes differ, but our current workflow is that we record a lot of that here, and then take it, or some of that, record the rhythms here, right?
Yeah.
Guitars, bass.
Through using DIs.
Layers.
People who don't know, explain that to them.
So whenever you're tracking guitar, right, you're tracking, you used to hearing a guitar through an amp, some sound like that, some distorted sound. So you're just capturing the process signal, and then you're also capturing the DI, which is the signal straight from the guitar or whatever source that is. A direct input is what it's called. But anyway, all those DIs can be reamped out, so it's sweet. So we record, pretty much track the whole song here, and then take it to the studio, strip it down, re-record what we need, reamp what we need, and that's a song.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of work involved in that.
So far, everything we've taken there gets directly reamped. We haven't had to recut any rhythms yet,
No,
except for there is going to be the one. Oh, I'm sorry. There are a couple of tracks that the main rhythm's acoustic, and we got to do that separately. But there, aside from that, there is the one song that I'll have to redo the.
Well, we felt. I feel like there was another song that we felt I think we used.
Spoke. I recut the verses on Spoke.
Yeah. And then I feel like there was something else where we had the telly, and then I don't know. The telly was one side, and there was something on the other side, and then it wasn't meshing. So I remember us going to a different.
That's the same
sound.
Same song I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. That and I have to recut the verses because I want to use a different guitar. But
the
either way,
workflow's kind of changed up though. It's like when we first started doing it and like keeping it, when we were talking about kind of like, segueing into the fact that we were going to be doing something different, but still not alluding to the fact that we're still playing music together, but not even announcing the band. We were still working while not letting anybody know that we were. So we had like sort of what we thought was the workflow we were going to use. But as we got into it, it all started moving so fast that eventually it kind of it would change. It felt like month to month. Like we would do a thing a certain way, and then because of technology and being able to reamp and use DIs, like I feel like we pretty much trimmed the fat pretty fast on how we work. Like we don't even cut guitars, like you said, besides solos, and unless you're going to use a microphone there at the studio, everything's done here.
Unless you have like a big budget to go in there and sit down and take your time, good on you. We don't. So that shaves down a lot of our costs there.
But when we started doing that, though, now I think about it, the idea wasn't us to do all guitars here or even backup vocals.
right? Like we've also
Now we're doing that.
We've also recorded all the demos for these songs. I keep calling them demos, but we recorded these songs, the DI tracks here. We also did that a couple different times per song because Andrew finds a better way, learns how to do it better, or get tighter with it, or make it cleaner, or we realized there was a little buzz in a guitar or something going on, so we'd have to redo it again. So by the time we actually got to the track of, the finished track, the track that you hear today, at least as far as rhythms go, they were pretty gluey as far as tightness go, which helped us in time as well.
Yeah. There was a lot of, it still is learning curves. You make mistakes all the time, but if anything, like even my bass tracks. So like the first time that I haven't recorded a single bass track one that's only been like, one session of me just sitting down and recording it. There's not been a single time. So I'll record the bass and, lay it down and then just sit on it because we have that luxury,
Right.
sit on it. And so then I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to get creative with it. Now that I have the foundation laid of what I think should happen, I can expand a little further. I can take that next 30 minutes, that next day, and go listen to whoever I think would inspire me on this song. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I adore about what we're able to do.
Me too, man. Like it's just the luxury of the technology that we have nowadays to be able to do that, because y'all know it's like when you've been to studios before in a band and you pay money for a certain time, you have the things written, but you go in, you play them, and maybe you didn't play them how you wanted, or maybe you played them perfectly, but then you get your mixes back and you listen to it, and because it's been 2 weeks, you've already came up with different melodies in your head for the part, and you're like, shit. That's what I got, though. And it's not like that. Like you laying down that structure, setting on it, and then, well, I have the luxury to change it now because I was thinking about other things besides just the ground level of it. It's fucking
I feel like there's
beautiful.
been a time, too, where each of us have had that happen, where we've recorded it and then came back and been like, I feel like I could probably do that better, or maybe do something different.
Totally.
You know?
It's also been a little bit in the opposite, too, for me, at least. So, like, when a song is written or whatever, I'll hear a certain thing in it that I want done, but that's not necessarily what Trevor's gonna play. You know, there's no way to know that. So naturally, Trevor doesn't play that thing. He plays something different, and I don't like it at the start. But then when that's glued onto the demo like that, and we're listening to these demos and playing these demos over and over and over again, then when we go to actually put it down for real in the studio, you know, I'll notice that, like, he's changed it again a little bit, and then I'm like, do that thing that you've been doing that I didn't like for a long time, because now I can't hear anything else. Like, now that's it. It's kind of cemented. So you got to kind of fight yourself a lot of times to not immediately be like, I hate that. If there's a time crunch, you know, everybody speaks their piece. That's the best thing about being this band, in my opinion, is that if you don't like something simply because you don't like it, we'll say it out loud to each other all the time.
Pretty hard on each other.
You try to give it a little bit of cushion though for it to grow on you. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. Prime example, actually, I don't know when this episode's gonna air, but we have a song, "Shot in the Dark," that should be coming to you. If not, or should be soon.
Oh, I'm so excited about that one.
Next, going to speaking your piece. Another great thing that we have, you know, at another, I guess, luxury is that, you know, we can get creative after the fact with all of these songs, meaning that so a song that's coming to you, "Shot in the Dark," we talked about this. It has a vocal intro of our harmonies, of our chorus harmonies.
I know you're waiting. All this sounds crazy.
At first, it was the whole chorus. It was a lot. It was a long time till the music started.
Yeah, it was a
But
big pause.
it was a cool idea, and I was like, man, I don't know about it yet. So then I was like, I'm going to take a week or so, sit on it, listen to it, and just let it grow on me. Eventually, it got trimmed down, put in the back, cool ass reverb on it, cool ass room on it, and it's sick. I love it.
I'm so glad that he loves it now.
And then
by the way.
I hated it that way until I listened to it for a week or so.
It's
It's a really cool process to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Actually,
and there was just so many. It's cool too because there's so many things that, you know, we understand now, I guess, and start to get a little better handle on. So like, even when that got trimmed down, there were still things that needed to be done, like technical things that us and our homeboy BFF Biffle, Matt McQueen, that, you know, we were able to communicate clearly, and speak on technical terms, and everybody understand each other. I'm so thankful for that.
yeah, I'm too, man. Like just EQ stuff and shit like that. You send it to him, and he gets it back to you, and it sounds like usually the next time it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's
He'll beat himself up over one mix revision though. It's funny.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy. Because like everything that he sent so far, honestly, has all been in the ballpark the very first time. So
I can never text him more than two. Most of the time, it's just the one.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess what I've found through trial and error is that usually you send that one mix revision out, you're excited about it, and then, you know, you come back to it the next day and you're like, I could do better.
Sure.
So then you just go ahead and redo it, you know? And then that one's a little closer. And the funny thing is, probably all the notes that you've made, the majority of them, it gets cleared up by the second revision that he hasn't even seen of the first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that happens a lot too. Or, you know, you think you want something louder, and then it comes back louder, and you're like,
Don't know if I like it like that. I think it was cool, like, just thinking about the timeline and the process of working on the new music for the new band and how we were kind of just keeping shit, kind of on the DL. And thinking back to the last time we shot Blest Boyz podcast in October, we had all this time, but we were still putting so much pressure on ourselves to be like just nitpicking everything. So the fact that we could, do some, because we did start out doing demos, complete demos here,
sure.
full band. Then we went there and cut the songs, and then it kind of evolved into trimming the fat. But because we were able to do that, it's just crazy how nitpicky we got with everything, but it's because of the product we're trying to, put out. And man, I'm just super excited and really grateful for it all. And it, just jazzed about fucking playing live. That's the biggest thing. It's been a year and a half, 2 years of not really playing.
Yeah, not at all.
Even before we did the last show.
As we're shooting this video right now, our first show is yet to happen.
Yeah. July 1st.
Yeah, so we're 2 weeks out from that.
We're 2 weeks out?
Excuse me.
We're 1 week
I thought
out.
it was this coming weekend.
I would have normally sweated over that little thing right there. But, I got to be honest with you. So, check this. We had a couple shows booked that we thought we were going to be able to do. Or, excuse me, a show book that we thought we were going to be able to do already. Obviously, that one didn't pan out. That one will happen. No big deal. But this has taken quite a bit of time. So that took so much time off from playing live. And honestly, as far as the acoustic stuff, I don't know why. I just dig it so much more. As far as the acoustic, I love it when you two go and do acoustic stuff without me, because you
don't have to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mean that. No, I'm just kidding. But it's there's a separation between that and the band. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So in saying that, it's been quite some time since I've played live. And so honestly, up until about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was sweating.
Worried about it?
Worried.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
so nervous.
Me fucking
Shook.
too.
Didn't know.
Me too. I was irritable as fuck. I was irritable at work.
Dude, yeah.
Honestly, this last practice we had, we got in Adrian Heil. Adrian Heil.
Yeah.
He's playing keys for us. He's going to play organ and piano for us at this show on July 1st. Hopefully you see this episode before then. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. Maybe not. But he threw his hat in the ring, and he's coming in to save the day on that with us. And we've been beating it as much as we can, and it's been great.
I beat it every day, twice a day.
It gets greater, at least. But him coming in just sealed the deal. And that I remember I was late for work the next morning because I slept so hard.
Really?
I swear to God. Swear to God.
First time in how long?
Yeah, for a long time.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
There was we go ahead.
Well, because we spent so much time on this and we put so much into it.
Yeah.
And the stress doesn't go away from it.
We committed to not saying anything or blowing our load too soon or going and playing shows. I mean, we just got in full-blown headlock fights over, just being fuck it, let's just go play a show as a cover band just to get our nuts off,
Yeah.
And we bit our tongues and didn't do it. So I'll be goddamned if we go out there and fuck this up.
So people don't understand, us three are, in a pretty good range of each other as far as location. Andrew and I live here, but you live in Morgantown, but still you work in Bowling Green.
Yeah,
people
here
don't
every day.
realize that whole time we were just locked together pretty much in one house every day after work. We all work jobs, which is a funny thing. A guy told me the other day, his grandpa or his dad works with you, and he was like, I seen him at the supply house, and he was like, hey man, I didn't know you guys were a band. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, my dad or his grandpa, somebody older than his elder. He's like, my dad works with that feller that plays in the band with you. I think he works at Magna. And I was like, nah, it's not Magna. It's over there.
Mm-hmm.
He was like,
Might as well be.
right. And he was like, he showed me a song you guys released. He was like, and then I got to looking and realized I see you and I see your bass player, and then he sees him. Y'all work regular damn jobs, man. That's crazy. And I was like, yeah, no shit. But
Yeah, until somebody pays us not to.
right, so we're working our regular jobs, and then, dude, all day long at work, I'm thinking, focus on work. But then I know 4 or 5 o'clock comes, I gotta restart and think about the main job.
And there's so many days when you get off, you're like, I don't want to do anything.
But nobody ever phoned it in. I don't feel like we've pushed ourselves to be as good as we can be with this stuff, and that's why, even though we had that great practice, the last practice we had, rehearsal rather, I'm still not gonna take advantage of how good that was. I'm losing sleep.
We got to somehow convince the others to get another day this week.
Right.
I agree.
Because if we could, man. So much studio time, though, over like, a year. And then you got to restart and learn all the parts that you've written and recorded. And then also play them live in a setting where there's a list of them, one after one after one, not just spending 4 hours working on one part of one song.
Right.
So that's what's had me the most nervous about it. But I'm feeling better about it, but I'm not taking the pressure off because I want to kill it because I know these songs deserve that,
Sure.
I hope they like us.
Sure.
That's the scariest part about it all.
Yeah, this could be, this all could be, like a bad fuse. We don't know.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, with all the time and effort put in and everything considered, to see somebody talk some good shit about it is very rewarding. Honestly, so we got some reviews back over the last, I think it was maybe another Spoke, I think is when we got all them reviews. So we got all these reviews back.
Both now.
Yeah, but
both
the second was a little better.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yep, go ahead.
So we get these reviews back from another Spoke, and from who, it doesn't matter. But we keep hearing the same shit, like it's too country, or it's too pop, or it's too rock, or it's too I don't know, kiss my ass and blow me from the front. I don't know.
Right.
So it's like that sucked for a second. Not that you should care, but considering how much time and effort. So it's like,
and then coming off the trails of being too heavy or too soft as Kiss Kiss Bang.
It's always something. So, but then to see the reception from the average consumer, and to see streaming numbers and stuff like that.
Well, more into that is that specifically we would get, so that what that is what he's talking about is I'd submitted them to a bunch of Spotify playlist curators and to try to get on their playlist and stuff like that, and that costs money. I mean, I paid money to do it, and
which is one thing we never did ever with the other music. We weren't that active with Spotify.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to be.
And most of them got declined, right? So they declined to add them to their playlist for those reasons like that. They said it was one person would be like, it's a little too country for my playlist, or it's a little too rock and roll for my playlist.
But they were always patronizing almost. They were like
contradicting.
Right.
Also, yeah. So every one of these people that declined to put them on their playlist also sent a review like that long about how dope it was.
I know. It was so...
You talking about misleading or confusing.
Yeah, because they would go into detail like, honestly...
stupid detail that nobody's ever going to fucking see.
That we think about, though.
Right.
Because everything is so planned out. Everything is meticulous, which can, in a way, can be some steps back. However, I don't know. Whenever you're really trying to get after something and really trying to sell something, I don't mind. I didn't mind taking our time.
We're pretty good though about choosing what needs to be and what doesn't. Like, for example, all the songs that we recorded so far, like where I play acoustic, all of those are at least the last 4 we did, or the 2 in the last. No, all last 4, because I put acoustic on all of them, but just 2 of them are more acoustic than others.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all my one takes solid all the way through, because that's an acoustic guitar is a more organic
More
instrument.
Of a feel.
Yeah, and that just made sense.
Yeah.
You know, when other things we're fucking stressing over something being exactly right on time and stuff, but those things in particular we didn't. We kept those first takes. We went through them and looked, made sure there wasn't any bad notes and stuff, but we kept them because of that reason, because that's what it needs. So you know, I personally think that we use that properly when it needs it, and we pull back when we don't.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is, for me, the thought of, through the whole process of getting the recording started for the songs, we didn't give ourselves a timeline, even though we had that itch to want to play live, and we would, you know, come up with these ideas to have shows or do this or do that, because we are fiending for a live show. We always kept that thought in the back of our head, and we made it very, it was there, that there's no time, there's no pressure, there's no nothing. We'll take our whole fucking life to write these songs or record these songs until we have them where we want them, and we won't go play live until we have said list of songs.
Yeah, our shit together.
So we just kept that in the back of our heads, but not in the back, actually to the front of being like, there's no time. We can nitpick and fucking analyze it, look at it with a, you know.
And let's get tight too.
Yeah.
And speaking on the change and speaking on all the thought processes and things like that, and kind of going back to your acoustic too, it really adds to the landscape of what we're doing here. And, you know, it's been really cool having, his name is Kyle Roop on steel, lap steel, Don Eanes on keys.
Game changers.
We've had Lee Hammer come in and play.
It might be
harmonica.
Inez. I'm not sure.
Don Inez.
It might be. I'm not sure. Who
Donnie,
knows?
correct me, please. And then we'll see you soon.
But he plays keys for Morgan Wallen right now.
Morgan Wade.
Morgan Wade on her tour right now.
That's so fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, it's
still.
cool. They just did Bonnaroo.
Dude, her band is bad as fuck.
Yeah. And
All of
in
them.
saying that, you know, we had all of those instruments, adding all that character, you know, painting that landscape, if you will. We had all those things on the records and in the studio. So it's like, why, you know, definitely let's bring that and let that translate and let that add to the experience live. So we have some friends. We don't have everything. We don't have every base covered yet. So, you know, we're still looking for, you know, some guys. But like I said, we do have some friends.
And they're also like, you know, they're filling that void for us. But if you're wondering, or if you know somebody,
That's what I was about to
we're
say.
actually looking. We want someone in the band. Like,
Yeah.
we want to add another member to the band to play keys or to play lap steel for us.
Who wants to play music and love everything
Yeah.
that sucks about it.
You gotta love it, man, because we, I mean, it's all we do. None of us pockets any money for it.
It all just funnels back into the whole
Everything
shebang.
is recyclable.
we pay more than we make.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
for the long term goal.
It's a lot to ask of a lot of people. You know, there was a guy. I'll tell this story. I won't say who. There was a guy that did reach out to us. That was like, "Yeah, I play keys. I just got off the road," and we was like, "Sweet, you know, how much a show? What was it? 600,
something like that.
500?"
Which
500.
probably isn't crazy for his ability. And
No,
you know,
no.
Sure.
Honestly, this man was the truth.
right.
He's the truth. a great utility singer, a great, you know, honestly, a great musician. Already had his gear and stuff, and that's not a lot to ask. I think that's very reasonable, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely.
However, shit.
This ain't that.
I mean, he would take. I mean, some shows we play, he would take the entire bill,
Yeah.
and we'd have to pay him a little more.
I mean, honestly, I don't know that these first couple shows, I hate to put our business out there, I don't know that these first couple shows are going to be that.
Oh no,
You know?
that's not what it's about. But
No, it ain't. But
we'll get that money later.
Because,
we do play those shows that do give us, eating money, but that's neither here nor there.
It's a whole new deal.
I tell you what, man, not that I was spoiled or anything, but when we was hitting it hard as KKB, and then all of a sudden the pandemic rolls around and we didn't, it was like I had this big void that was like, okay, now hang on a minute, I'm not digging this, because we done got showed that we can do that.
right.
You know, that's a possible avenue.
And I don't know if we've told anybody in the mess, out loud or anything, but we had didn't we have 70 shows booked for 2020?
We had a fuck ton booked.
It was like
I can't remember.
It was like
I don't know the number.
it was
we
like
were
70
gearing up for a
already.
lot of fucking shows.
Yeah, like 70, 72 already down, booked, locked in, for 2020.
And then one after another. Pop.
Dude, you
it
talking
was so
about
crazy,
heartbreaking?
bro.
But it is what it is, and we never recovered. To be honest,
No.
No.
we never did.
But it's okay. Like, honestly, that whole time was spent listening or doing what you're listening to and watching, what you're watching. Like, in that whole time, we've been, not perfecting, but building a craft, each of us. And it's all been in tandem, working together.
Because nobody
just with
knew
different
when
things.
everything would become normal again. So we're like, fuck it. If it's not going to become normal for 4 years, we'll spend the time and do the work, because we've always been, I feel like, in it for the long haul. So, and that's the difference between some people, which is fine, because the long haul is hard. That's not easy.
We did get a dope ass pandemic EP out of it.
We did.
That we did. That was a lot of fun. That was a really, really cool experience. I think that was like actually our speaking back on our biffle, Matt McQueen, that was, well, not yours, but that was kind of our like first experience creating with him.
Right.
Because we had tracked a cover with him, that was cool and all, but actually creating with him was a lot of fun.
Yeah, getting down the trenches with him and really putting in the work.
Yeah.
That was the first time
Yeah.
we got to, and
Because-
fuck, did we do it.
As much work as we put in trying to write those and create those and create moments with those in that EP, he put just as much work into making sure that we fulfilled that and that we were satisfied with it. So it was like, very pleasing. So it made absolute zero sense to beat anyone else's door down about this new project.
Right.
Hand in hand, it's been us and Matt.
And that's the thing you can be thankful for the pandemic, because it was kind of odd how that worked out, and it's kind of weird to think about. That was the EP we did with KKB, and it seems like just yesterday to look back, though, and see where the world was and nobody knew what was going on. We decided to do what we did with Matt and kind of learned him more, and he learned us more, and it almost kind of set us up for what we're doing now.
Sure.
In a way that has been so beneficial to the songs, these new songs,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
fucking wild to think
It
about.
just seemed like, as soon as we walked in there, before he'd heard anything, he already knew what we were trying to do, and what needed to be done to get it. And like, for example, "Spoken the Wheel" was not our intention for it to be our first single. We had
That was actually supposed to be 2, wasn't it? Number 2?
2 or 3. We had a short list, of what we wanted to put out first in what order. And that was not it. But he just did such a good job on it. And our auxiliary players, Don Inez or Eanes, or however you say his name, I'll figure this shit out. and Kyle Roop in Alabama on the lap steel just did such a remarkable job that we were like, man, if this doesn't give someone the idea of what we're trying to do here, then nothing else will, because that's it. Because and yeah, we do get a little rock and roll, more rock and roll. We also get a lot softer and sweeter on this than we've never done before. We get a little, homegrown rootsy on it too. Full blown country on it, but it's got all kinds of stuff we've been doing, but. That's the one I think that had a little tip of the hat to every one of those things.
Yeah. It's had the whole thing from the song perspective, and even the songs that we're bringing in too, that they all have a really cool perspective about them that is, relatable in a lot of sense, and I don't know. I tell you what though, me and Trevor back in the day. And I actually had been meaning to tell you this the last couple of days. I just hadn't. But me and Trevor back in the day worked so fucking hard on crafting harmonies. However, we only got to craft harmonies in the studio. So live, we were always crafting my harmony, as far as where I should go. And a lot of times, this is before you joined, and a lot of times before you joined, I would, have cover a couple spreads, bounce back and forth, where the vocal has a main harmony as opposed to a couple harmonies. So, that was me for a long time, and then you had hopped in with us and sung with us, and that was cool and all. We got to work on some harmonies, but we had never actually got to craft our harmonies together, and we had spent so much time. You taught me how to sing harmonies. And we had spent so much time crafting mine. So then to finally be able to for us to craft both of our harmonies together, and to understand, what needs the Brooks and Dunn harmony to where it's got homeboy with them.
And be able to speak that language to each other, and not just there's 17,000 different things you could do, but to be able to just call out something like Brooks and Dunn and everybody knows what the fuck to do.
Yeah, because
such a cool fucking thing.
Because honestly, that's when you say that to me, that's not the that's not the chorus of Brand New Man or the chorus of anything. That's that verse vocal where Brooks is tickling the fancies of Dunn's voice, you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's the good shit.
The chorus gets what it gets.
Tickling Ronnie's vocal taint.
Yeah, I mean, it tickles my taint, I'll tell you that.
Doing the vocals and the harmonies has been fucking awesome.
It's been so fun. And then honestly, that's one of the newer things that we're doing here at the house also. So we're trying to be a little more cost efficient, a little more time efficient. So we're cutting your vocal or whatever, and then we'll spend the time and do the harmonies here at the house, and being able to, I don't know, there's it's fun going into different places because it is inspiring. Everything has its own energy and its own mood about it.
But as far as getting down to business and knowing what we're doing is right, there's no place like doing it at home.
It's fun to do it.
For example, that harmony in the second verse of the Spoke in the Wheel. What is it? Hold on a second.
Wishing Well.
Yep. No, but it's before it's
Talking to
the
Me.
Line talking to me.
Something spending a lifetime.
Yeah, that's it. I need to find something worth spending a lifetime. I don't know. That's not the natural harmony that comes to my mind. And I try to write or I don't know, feed the harmony that's in my head to you. When I've written a melody or whatever, the best I can, but everyone hears them differently, or their natural instincts a little differently, and boy, that fucking harmony made that verse. I don't know what that verse wouldn't have had the impact that it does now if it wasn't.
That's cool that you
If
think
it
that,
wasn't
because
there.
it's always your inflections that, like, I've always loved harmonizing, and it's my favorite. Harmonies are my favorite thing in the world. Hearing someone or hearing a couple people sing together, but like the way that you have sang these songs, like your inflections are a little almost hard to sing with, but in a good way, because you do things a little differently than I would. I feel like the melodies I would come up with are like a lot more linear, as far as like straightforward. Then they might come up, down a little bit, but yours have a lot more just inflections to them. So to harmonize with that is not the easiest thing, but you have this build on some things. Like that's a prime example. You didn't throw your voice super hard, but you built the intensity up just a little bit, and that's really what made me think of that harmony. Just how your inflections went, and it felt like it needed to move because it kind of was moving.
Yeah,
So it's like, what if a higher harmony was right there, just going exactly how you did, and then your melody was so cool with the inflections that I was forced to kind of do that higher harmony, weird melody, and it just meshed together.
There's a song that you haven't heard yet, called Second Fiddle, that we've done too, and it also has you also do a different harmony in the chorus than my natural one. And all it is, the first line harmony is exactly what I had in my head. The second harmony is that melody. It's just like a half a step up or a whole step up from what's in my head. Mm-hmm. It's just I just didn't hear that. Now you couldn't beat it out of me with a stick. You know what I'm saying? Like if you do anything besides that when we cut those vocals, you'll get beat with a stick.
Fired?
Yep. Because now it's in there.
It's like I think was the beneficial thing about growing up listening to what we listened to. Me and Trevor, if you didn't know, listen to the same shit. Not that grew up listening to it, and not that you didn't. It was a little different, right? So
yeah, I mean, I was around it and know a lot of it, but I didn't latch onto it like you guys did.
So in speaking that, in the 90s country and even early 2000s, there was a lot of, a lot of blues rock, a lot of newer stuff that was with the times, but the vocals, they were hitting harmonies in a way that's not done anymore, but more of a bluegrass approach to it.
Right.
Sure.
The only person that I know that has released, I mean, there's plenty that have, I'm sure, but the one that comes to mind is Jamie Johnson does a lot of it, where it's like those, I call him John Michael Montgomery, or he just had this way of like those, bluegrass harmonies is what it is.
No,
I don't know if it's thirds and fifths. They're just like, the main will be here, and then the next one will be right there, and it's like, they're both kind of low in the register, but they're just
or just the slightest bend and they'd merge.
Right. And then Jamie Johnson will do this thing where he'll sing a main vocal line for a verse, and then he'll come into a chorus. Then when he brings the second verse in, he's singing the same thing, but he puts that harmony on. And it's that one little layer above, and then he does a weird little bend that it makes it sound like something that a lap steel melody would play, but it's only that one doing it, and it's just like.
I tell you what, I didn't know this. Zach Brown Band is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
I knew that they done harmonies. I didn't realize how in depth that is. A choir that is up there playing, and rightfully so. They're all amazing musicians. But that is a whole fucking choir up there.
Another thing that some people don't understand is that so it's extremely difficult to do harmonies that close with someone who sings with a lot of inflections or does a lot of weirder, different things than you naturally do. Because for example, like I could sing the wildest melody that I've ever written, and then I can sing harmony over myself perfectly with all those inflections down to the breath, right? I can mock it.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're doing is not one, but two other different people who sing differently or have their natural reaction or instinct to melody is different from mine. They're having to do that. It still needs to be just as tight, just as gluey as it would be, and that's quite the load to put on you.
It is, and especially if you're playing an instrument at the same time, which has like been the hardest thing for rehearsals lately, is trying to get those fucking parts that in the studio I was thinking the whole time, it doesn't have to be an extremely hard part, but most of the parts kind of had a weird timing to them. So to then try to come play that and then harmonize with it while playing a weird time has been, it's been excruciating, but I'm finally getting comfortable with it. And I feel like a lot of the stuff we could have phoned in a little bit more, but where we're also particular and have been with the new stuff.
And also,
we do get the breaths with you and do all this stuff. We could have just been a lot easier on ourselves, but we're not going to do that.
It's being particular, sure, but I also think like that's the fun. That's the fun part, right? It's the fun part is being puzzled over something. Like how the fuck do I get that? And
then finally getting it.
Right. Or coming in there, or we're going to work on this certain song. And all this whole time leading up to getting to this certain song, I've had this certain guitar sound it needs to be, because that's what it is in my head. And then I'm having to play charades with Matt to try to get him to understand what the fuck sound I'm talking about, because I'm not very good at getting it out in words. And then we'll just go through his entire his entire encyclopedia of knowledge on how to get it once I've got him to understand what it is. That's fun as fuck too. So like there's another song, I guess we're just spilling title track name beans through this episode, but that's what you get for watching. We appreciate it. There's a song coming up that I'm like super excited about. I'm also going to be a super pain in the ass about too, so you guys, I apologize.
I already know what it is
in advance, but there's a song called Midnight Radio that is so particular in my head already. It's like 100% done in my brain. There's so many different sounds, so many different. The acoustic guitar has to sound a certain way or present a certain vibe. The electric guitar has to sound a certain way or present a certain vibe. The vocals have to do the same thing. The lead guitar on the end is gonna require the same attention, and if it doesn't have all of those, if it doesn't hit all of those marks, then it fails on creating the vibe that it needs to create, because it's super particular, it's super specific, and I'm more interested in hitting that vibe than I am us performing to 100%. If something was done less than perfect, I'd keep it if the vibe was right. You know what I'm saying?
It's the most dynamically
that's one of those songs
sound needed songs we have, I feel like.
That's one of those songs that does not need to be
overly done,
gridded and overly produced, and
that and
meant to sell.
Second Fiddle to me is that one.
Sure,
we're throwing out.
It's one too, yeah.
Oh,
it's got that fucking vibe, man.
Every single one of these songs has their own mojo, which is really cool that they do take you for a ride throughout that whole song. Even I mean, I can hear that in the in the demo of it. So like I'm so excited to release some of this shit. I hate that it's taking so long.
I
know.
We got a schedule. Nobody's telling us we have to, but it's just
we've set these rules ourselves though. But it's for the better. It's for the good. I feel like.
Right, if we dump these songs on you tomorrow, you're gonna jam them, and maybe you love them, and that's gonna be great. For what? A week?
Yeah.
A week and a half?
I mean, you got fucking 8 other apps on at the same time?
Sure.
Are you going to go to
And
iTunes and
one-
listen to a whole
One,
album?
1 billion new songs released every day to listen to, you know? Like, I'd
would
rather stretch that out.
No. Yeah. Seriously, I don't understand the. I don't understand dropping the whole thing all in one day. Someone's gonna listen to a song and judge your whole project,
Right.
that you worked really hard on.
I do
with
love
one
that
song.
also. It has its
If-
place. But, you know, we're starting something new.
You gotta
In
know
our
your
shoes,
place, though.
yeah.
Right. We're starting something new. We're starting from the bottom.
Yes.
We don't have a fan base yet.
Yes.
We don't have, you know, someone waiting on pins and needles for it. You know, there are those people who we appreciate very much so, but, you know, we got to prove ourselves first.
I'm
And
so excited.
And grab attention.
grab attention. Now, I'll also go ahead and spill the beans a little bit on this. Once we've released, you know, an album's worth, we'll compile them into a collection, and we'll put it out as a full length record, so you can have them all there together. And we're going to try to press them on vinyl and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, vinyl releases. It's only going to be on. That's the only physical copies.
Sure.
We
Like-
will not have tapes, cassettes. We will not have CDs. We will not have DVDs. We will not have the ROM. We will have the motherfucking.
Maybe cassettes. Cassettes are cool as
You
fuck.
want an 8-track? Go fuck
The
yourself.
vinyl's got to come
But
first.
no further, sure. So think of it as a 13 to 15 track album that we're releasing one song every 2 months.
Mhm.
It just keeps it's easier to spread that one song around and actually have people listen to it a couple times, because you know, I feel like everybody's that way when you listen to a song, whether it's from somebody you like or not. Like, you listen to it and there's those select few you hear it the first time and you're hooked, but there's a lot more songs out there, in my opinion, from my experience, that I have to listen to a few times, and then I'm like, about the fourth time I've listened to it, I'm like, this is the fucking best song I've heard
Sure.
ever.
And if someone
So-
releases a whole album, you listen to the first single, it's great, you love it, you're interested in the rest of it, but it's a whole album, it's a collection there, and it's released already, so you're like, well, I'll get around to it, right? I got all this time in the world to get around to listening to it. If we release singles, you know, just speaking on behalf of myself, if I hear a single from someone new that I love and I just burn that fucking single to death, then no matter what they release next, you can goddamn guarantee at least one fucking play out of me.
Because you're burnt.
Because now I gotta know.
Yeah.
Gotta know.
That was the idea, I think, behind how we're doing it right now. And I personally love it because I look forward to looking back on all the ones we released and then having a compilation of everything, whenever that is that we do it. But we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants with it. There's no rules. There's no anything other than just recording the good songs that we can record and releasing them and hoping that people like it. I know, but I feel like there's going to be this shift, though, whenever we start playing live. Like, we've had a bunch of changes in our workflow, and I feel like we're at the point now where everything is pretty straightforward and good, and we know what we're doing. I feel like playing live for some reason is going to throw the wrench in our next little chapter of our workflow. You know what I mean? Like, when people start getting involved and coming, and we start seeing people and playing this song and that song, it might change up how we do things or how we release things or how we have stuff for the merch table, or, you know, you just never know how you'll do things
Sure.
until you're out there doing
We've been
it.
pretty stubborn so far, though.
I know.
Um,
Did we just have July 1st and then we have the one in August?
Yep, that's all we got down right now.
So 2 shows. I mean, so if you want to hear the jams, the rest of them, definitely come see us. It is. I promise you, it's gonna be worth the money spent. We're definitely gonna. We've put so much into everything else, and I promise you, that we've put just as much into these shows. So, you know, I definitely I'm excited about it. I hate that. Kanye said the saddest thing ever is I don't ever get to see myself perform. Honestly, man, I wish that I could see it from an audience perspective. I'm that excited about it.
Just to see
and
it all come together actually live.
absolutely.
I just hope that it delivers that the same thing. I hope it delivers that vibe correctly in my head at least.
If we
You
could
know-
just find somebody buff as fuck to come play steel, it would.
Yeah.
But-
Kyle Rube, yeah, dude's a fucking brick house. Yeah, I just really want it to be delivered correctly so that it's received correctly. That's
Right.
important to me. That we're trying to create a vibe here. Like we've picked the set list specifically. We picked it in order specifically. All of our transitions and moves into the thing, into each song is by design. We're trying to create a feeling. You know, the set does this, and it plateaus for some emotional, powerful songs, and then it blows the top off one last one. You know, and that's by design.
To add to that, let's just explode that thought for a second. So the idea is like, okay, I got to be honest with you. If I go see a band that I've never heard, and they only have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, they have an hour, I don't care how many songs they play. That's not what's going to stick in my head.
No.
Like, what's going to stick in my head is those moments. And the whole show can't be a moment. It can't. It's got to have some sort of dynamics, you know? So
A cascade
I still
of
don't
some
know.
sort.
But it's,
You fucking nailed it, buddy. Hey, I'm proud of you.
You know what that means?
I don't.
It's a dishwashing liquid. Anyway, go on.
I don't know if it goes up or
I'm-
down or
I'm
starts
done with
down and
this.
up, but it does.
I'm
It
done with
does.
this.
It does do that, and that's what it. You're exactly right.
It's also super fun releasing the singles, by the way, because we all got boners for aesthetic and design and art. So now we get 15 album covers,
Which, by the way,
12 album covers, 10 album covers, however many it's going to be.
had quite a few people message me saying how cool they thought the artwork was and things like that. So I took full credit for it, just so y'all know.
hell yeah.
Appreciate you.
But to touch on what you just said, because that is important. The whole live show just can't be one thing. Whether it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 10 songs, or 20.
I'd prefer 2 songs with plenty, or excuse me, 4 songs with moments than, 4 songs with like 2-3 moments than fucking 30 songs.
Because
You know
then
what
you're
I'm saying?
taking on like a ride. Then you remember that show. You
Yeah.
remember everything about it at certain points.
It's all about the experience.
And, we've got a set list made and we've been rehearsing it, but the thing that's been in my head is we can practice and rehearse until we're blue in the damn face, but until we get out there and actually play the shows, we won't be able to, make up for the silly shit that might happen. Take notes here and there for after this song, he's got a tune there. That's a good time for me to tune. As this new band with this new set list, that's going to be a whole new thing to learn. Where in the other band, we've done it for years, so we kind of had it down as far as if shit goes wrong, here's what we can do, or here's what I need to do to take care of myself in this spot. That's going to be a very fun thing and terrifying thing at the same time to kind of figure out
Sure. And
the
if
first couple shows.
even if you're not a fan of the music or the songs we put out or anything so far, it'd be worth it to you to come and just watch how much I can make Trevor sweat by not letting him tune or piddle with his helix. He loves to piddle.
I'm a
gonna-
piddling son
once
of a
this ball
bitch.
once this ball starts rolling, I'm going.
That's why I have simplified my shit down just a little bit. I'm trying to focus more on playing and not making a bunch of fucking noises or having shit go wrong. Because for some reason, shit just goes wrong for me.
There's nothing that's more reliable than just going back to Old Faithful.
It's true.
Maybe for
I
you
love-
guys, but for me, no.
I do love the technology and the digital stuff. I do. But damn.
First night I go back to a tube head, power tube blows out. Guarantee it.
I'll be using helix for the show too, though. But I am absolutely 100% migrating back to the amp and cab and pedal board. I just need a few more pedals to do it.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I to touch on that, I don't think that it's because I was unhappy with my tone. I really enjoyed my tone. It was exactly what I want in a tone. I do not, I'm not a fan of the modern grindy tone with no low end. I think that shit sucks. But like, I really like the fucking round low end. A little sparkle up top. You know what I mean?
That apple bottom low end.
Yeah, for sure. And just nice and thick, and
THIQ or ICC.
So, I mean, like I said, it had all those qualities and characteristics. So, it's not that I was unhappy with my tone. I was just, I don't know, I was ready to be, I think, re-inspired.
Right.
Because it definitely is inspiring to go back and be like, okay, what can I do here? Now I'm like, I'm in the middle of rebuilding my whole rig.
It's also super fun to be limited, right?
I mean, I don't feel limited.
Well, sure, but what I mean is you got the Helix, which is just everything imaginable.
Yeah.
That can be altered in every way imaginable.
And ultimately that you could hide behind if you really wanted
Sure.
A digital universe.
But now you're going to be back to a head that has...
not that one. Don't point at that one.
They can't see it.
Okay.
To a head that has 9 knobs on it and a couple of pedals, and you got to make that shit work.
Yeah.
But also, on the beauty of it is you got less to think about, buddy. This will probably be the freest show that you've played in a long time.
I hope so.
Besides stressing out over parts and stuff because they're all new songs, but
yeah. I hope so. Like
that's what I'm excited about.
Rebuilding the pedals. I'm nerding out over the chain, over the tone. So, and I mean, for the record, I have been running that amp for quite some time. So, for the last 2 years or so, I had been just using the Helix for the effects. Yeah, for the compressor and the EQ. I'm not the fan. I'm not the guy that's a fan of like a lot of synth. I don't necessarily care for the chorus or anything like. Maybe I'm missing out, but it's just not really what I've ever like been into. Definitely some cool sounds achieved with it, but not what I'm going for. Just taking that minimalist approach, it's so much more manageable. It's so much less to think about. I don't know. I want to circle back to it. It's just so inspiring, which honestly was what got me into the digital stuff anyways. It was because it was inspiring, but it's funny, going back to the minimalist stuff, it's
You've
inspiring.
had your fun.
For sure.
Even though I'll be using the Helix for this show, I've made that as small as possible too. Like I stay on the same channel almost the entire set now. I let him do the other things.
Yeah.
I just keep that rhythm train rolling. I got a few things I switch around, but that's it.
I've like I said, I've went pretty. I mean, I still have some things like I got phase 90 and some delay and shit if I want to pop it on. But the last practice I tried to stay pretty straightforward on, if just a little bit of volume boost if I need it, or.
And you are a lot of things, but straight isn't one of them.
No, it is not.
Speaking on that, Sweetwater has this video series out called Gear Builders. It's on their YouTube. Me and Trevor had watched it earlier, and funny enough, the first episode they did, the two guys were building a country rig, and so listening to they're from different backgrounds, so listening to their take on it was super interesting, but also kind of turn your wheels a little bit, because I don't know, it's a completely different tone, completely different amps. The compressors are run damn near completely different, and whenever you're running a loud distorted guitar, I don't feel like it's all that often when you've got a compressor slammed in front of it. Sure there is times, but with the country tone, it's so squozed.
Yeah, that's the
Squozed.
Squozed. It is. It's like it is like
It's like
what's the
prevalent
best?
to that sound almost. Like you almost need it if you're going for that that sound.
Yeah.
It's a number one for all those. Like they're like two metal guitar players, or like they've never played country before, basically,
Mhm.
and they're tasked with building a country rig. So then they got to go to Sweetwater and type in country rig, and then talk to the representatives, and they'll help them out. But
So cool.
you'll figure out that kind of stuff is in most of the old school country rigs that people, when they think of country music guitar, that's what they hear. So it's for a good reason. It's on all those dudes' pedal boards. They didn't have a fucking Phase 90 though.
That is one thing they didn't have.
Huh.
You gotta have that.
Yeah, neither one
Some
of them
people
had it on there.
don't think country when they think that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so I don't remember it on too many. So it was way more of the outlaw country songs that it was on.
Right. Which I think is
And
cool
that-
about maybe bringing it into the modern world.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, yeah. But it was more. That was more of an effect on like those songs, the Waylon songs, and David Allan Coe, and I feel like he used it a lot.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, that era anyway, that style.
I fucking love it so much.
It is a cool one. But and then also that turned me on to other gear. I'm gonna tell you this. Tell you about this. One of the fellers got Diodario makes this pedal board now that goes from like, from this, or excuse me, maybe like this, and then stretches out, right? And then you got to put it together, but it's like man, that would make life so much easier. So I got that on my wish list. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna talk to my Sweetwater rep. Me and him gonna chop it up.
If anybody's looking to buy Andrew any gifts, he's got that on his Sweetwater wish list.
But that's not the one I want you to get though. I can
Nope.
get that one.
Get that one. Get it.
No.
He wants the upsize one if you're gonna.
No, I don't even want that.
If you're gonna buy it for him, I want the legacy model.
Diodario
Let's
did
see.
just release a pretty badass pedal board though.
This has all
Yeah.
been fun too. Like it's inspired me to get different pedals than I ever would have before. I bought a Marshall amp specifically for this stuff. I'm looking at all kinds of different guitars every day that I want now.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a whole lot of fun. I mean, this has been a pretty long Damn Shames specifically inspired episode of Blest Boyz, which isn't our norm. I know we usually talk about
That's fine. That's fine. That's all that's been
random
on my
stuff,
mind.
but we
honestly,
thought we'd hop on here and peel everybody's noggin back a little bit if they're wondering, just questions and stuff.
Just because we were kind of always hinting around in the last episodes and shit, and we could never really openly
Right.
talk about it like we wanted to because we hadn't released a single or anything yet, and now we have. And then we went this long period without doing a Blest Boyz podcast, and depending on what time this is released and when people hear it, hopefully there's not crazier news that we've heard over the last few months that we could talk about, but we got some wild shit to cover
Sure.
on the next episode, and I'm hoping that by the time the next episode rolls around, nothing happens as bad as what's happened in the last few weeks.
Yeah, we are going to try to pick these
That's
up.
some crazy.
At least a couple more for you here, relatively quickly. I mean, I want to.
yeah.
Which I think we could knock that out, especially after this coming Saturday, because a little bit of a load will be off for a minute.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
The main
Um,
focus is the show, right? So that's what's taking up a lot of our time. Because even, honestly, we're practicing every day. With that, even when the rest of the band isn't here, we practice damn near every day, if not every day. So honestly, once getting this show out of the way, I think it's next Saturday.
Yeah,
Just getting that out of the way, that should free a lot of shit up.
because we
You
do
know.
love these. These are fun.
Yeah.
Um,
And then honestly, do this a day, and then after this show, that'll start setting things in motion. That'll open up more stuff for us to be able to get done here also.
Right.
Because the shows kind of took priority, so we got songs in the bank, ready to get the rest of them done, ready to get them out to you.
And we appreciate you for listening,
yeah, absolutely.
and we love you. And, on the next episodes, we might have
A
go
guest.
back to have a
Yeah.
guest or
Yeah.
have read some email questions and topics and whatever people want to hear.
Yeah.
Or,
For For sure. Well, we appreciate you stopping by and keeping up with us. We love all the support we've had for this, by the way. We do get a lot of people stop us when we go out. We run into people out in places and stuff, tell us how much they loved it, and we loved it too. It's been super fun. We haven't forgotten about it. We haven't shut it down. We ain't stopped, we're not going to stop doing it. We're going to do it as much as we can. It just might not be to a set schedule like we intended it for it to be.
Too much pressure right now.
We got a lot of music to make and to put out for you, and a lot of shows to play. And that's top priority. So, in the meantime, keep up with the Damn Shames on Facebook at the Real Damn Shames, Instagram at the Damn Shames Official. We have a Bandcamp, which is Damn Shames Official. We have a TikTok, which is the Damn Shames Official. Then you got your Blest Boyz Pod at gmail.com. That's the email that you can send us questions or videos or audio of you asking questions or whatever you want, and we'll talk about it on the show.
It's all going to be in the description.
It'll all be there.
Yeah, we'll put it all in there.
Blest Boyz has an Instagram and a Facebook as well, which most of you watching this know that already. So give us a shout. Ask us anything you want. I mean, anything. Nothing's off limits here, as you know it, as you've seen in previous episodes.
Bring the wackest shit you got.
If you have any questions or anything that you want to talk to us about or to have us talk on the show, just send an email to blestboyspod at gmail.com. That's BLESTBOYZPOD at gmail.com. We love you so much. Stay blessed. And we're going to leave you with a little snippet of a song that's coming out in a couple of months called Shot in the Dark. We hope you love it. It's a jammer. It's one of our favorites. As a matter of fact, it was the very first song we had written for this band. So it's a little delayed in the process, but boy, was it worth it. Mr. Lee Hammer, our good buddy from Glasgow, Kentucky, he's on it playing harmonica. So give him a shout. Tell him what a great job he did. And again, we love you. Stay blessed.
It ain't your Peepaws podcast. It's the People's Podcast. It's the Blest Boyz Podcast.